also work at an expensive resort, so a lot of, well-off families come in, and I'm looking at the mama, and she's laid back in this big love seat, and she's got a drink in one hand with a fucking Marlboro Light, and her head is back. I think she's just enjoying the sound of her family's voices. What choice did she make in life to earn that? And I'm angry that I never got a chance at that kind of life. How do I fix it?
After seeing the great life of a feminine woman and her family, she became sad and started crying. She sees what she is missing, and now she doesn't know what she can do to have that life for herself. Hours later, after posting the first video, she made a second one because of a comment a guy left under her first video. This is the comment.
Hey, I saw this comment at like 6 a.m. and I had to come back and scroll to find it so far because it awoken me. If someone could give me tips on how to be more feminine, I mean, my hands are literally calloused. So work at an expensive resort, so a lot of, well-off families come in, and I find myself watching them, not in a creepy way, just admiring how they are with each other. And there was this one family last week, they were from Italy, so they mostly spoke French. A lot of them are foreign. And it was a mom and a dad and two teenage girls. And one day they're just out there, and there's like a little seating area. There's a big wooden couch and two big love seat wood chairs with cushions, and the mama is just so carefree. She's kind of got this hippie vibe, and she's wearing these flowy sundresses that are made out of linen without a bra, but she's the most gorgeous creature I've ever seen. Not in a way that's physical. I mean, she's gorgeous in that way too, but she just had this lightness to her, and this long hair, and these Dior sunglasses. Actually, I read the side they were Armani, and this beautiful hat, and they're sitting out there, and every morning the dad has no shoes on, light wash jeans and a white t-shirt, and he's up early, and he's got these earpieces in, and he's speaking French, and he's aggressive, and it sounds like he's running this multi-million-dollar company. And the girls, I don't think I saw one of their cell phones. They're each other's best friends, and they're in one love seat, and they're on top of each other, and they're giggling and they're laughing, and it's like they don't run out of things to say. And the dad is just on the phone, and I'm looking at the mama, and she's laid back in this big love seat, and she's got a drink in one hand with a fucking Marlboro Light, and her head is back, and she's just there. I don't even think I think she's just enjoying the sound of her family's voices, and she's there. A lot of the families like to play games and do board games, and this family isn't. They're just with each other. They're just there. And I look at this woman, and I think to myself, what choice did she make in life to earn that?
That's a great question, and honestly, the answer is much simpler than it might seem. The way she framed it makes it sound like rocket science, but it's really not that complicated. She's asking what choice that woman made to end up with that man and the lifestyle she has. Well, the main decision she made was giving the right guy a chance at the right time. She chose the good guy, not when he had everything figured out, but when he was still building, still trying. Instead of chasing excitement or wasting time with Chad, she focused on someone who had potential, even if he hadn't made it yet. She was serious from the beginning, and she committed to building something real with him from the ground up, and because of that, he recognized her input, and naturally, he rewarded her with the life they now have together. This is what most likely happened.
And it's not in a way that it's envious, but I desperately want to know how she did it. where she was able to find such a man that makes her feel so safe.
That's another great question, and again, the answer is actually pretty simple. Now she is wondering where that woman found that type of man. The truth is that he is everywhere, but is often overlooked. In fact, the first place to look is right in the friend zone, or buried in the unread DMs. He's the same guy many women have already rejected at some point. Did she really think he was Chad? We all know he wasn't. He wasn't the flashy guy most women chased. He is the same guy most of them passed just because he was not 6 foot or wasn't making a certain amount. But now, he has become the type of man they desire. Now most women wonder what they can do to have that man, not acknowledging that they would be by his side if he was given the opportunity when he wanted to date them.
That just him being there is enough, and she can lay back and she can put her feet up and she can smoke that cigarette. And I'm angry that I never got a chance at that kind of life. And I think about it, and it's like, I think about it, and none of the women in my family got that. None of them. How do I fix it? And my stress is not from a lack of a protector. It's from having to carry the stress of all of my life when women were born to be nurtured. They were born to be protected. They were born to put their feet up and smoke a fucking Marlboro Light wearing Armani sunglasses. How do I fix this? How do I bring justice to every woman that has sacrificed the majority of their life to men who are raised to be absolute fucking monsters? It's not by obtaining a man like that. That's out of the cards for me. I know that. How do I bring awareness to change the societal standards of men? What can I do?
She was making her points calmly and reasonably until that last statement. That's where it no longer made sense. What exactly does a man have to do with the choices she's made up to this point? Why is she suddenly pointing fingers at others for the fact that she's not living the soft life she wants? Instead of reflecting on her own path, she wants to point fingers and try to redefine the societal standards simply because things didn't work out the way she wanted. But if the problem is really with us or with society as a whole, how does she explain the fact that the woman she mentioned found that guy? That alone proves that it has nothing to do with us. It's about individual choices.
And I'm angry that I never got a chance at that kind of life.
There's really no need to be upset. Being strong and independent is also a valid choice, and some women are comfortable with it. This is something she will also get used to at some point. That said, if she still desires a different kind of lifestyle, one that involves being supported or cared for in a particular way, then it might be worth considering what kind of woman those men are typically looking for. These guys know what they want, so if she can understand what that looks like and work on aligning herself with those qualities, then she might increase her chances of being noticed and chosen by them. This kind of video is eye-opening. It really highlights the power of choice. A lot of people underestimate how much their decisions shape their future. They chase the excitement and thrill that only someone like Chad can provide, without realizing that this short-term mindset often keeps them from ending up in a situation like the woman mentioned. Because the truth is, many won't even consider giving certain guys a chance. Guys who may not look like much now, but have real long-term potential. I have noticed that some women know how it works. They understand that most men don't forget the woman who stood by them when things were tough. We remember the one who was there when we were counting change to cover the light bill or struggling to make rent. That kind of loyalty and belief in us doesn't go unnoticed. In fact, it's what we value the most, and that's exactly why that woman now lives a peaceful and secure life. Her man made sure she got the life she deserved, because she earned it, by staying when most would have walked away, by believing when others doubted. That kind of loyalty gets rewarded, and that's the difference. That's why she's in the position she's in today. Only in rare cases a woman might land that lifestyle by luck, but for most, it requires strategy, and it starts early, often with the kind of man they choose to build with. The mistake many are currently making is waiting until a man has already made it before taking him seriously, but that's not how it works. Building with someone from the beginning and finding someone already at the finish line are two entirely different approaches, and that's where the secret lies. But unfortunately, not everyone understands that. She might assume that the woman she spoke about just found a rich husband, but chances are he wasn't rich when they met. He was probably the guy who got overlooked, the one who wasn't popular in school, didn't have money, or didn't stand out, but she saw something in him early on. And now look where they are. At the end of the day, people need to understand how this works. You can't live your whole life as a strong, independent woman, completely self-focused, and still expect to land a husband who's going to provide a fully traditional lifestyle. That's not how things work. You shouldn't expect traditional treatment if you're not prepared or willing to reciprocate the same energy.
I hate to be that girl, but like after a certain amount of time, if you have not bought me something, I'm gonna dip. Like, it 1000% is a deal breaker for me, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I love generous men. Like, I enjoy spending my time with men that enjoy doing things for me, or like nice things. Like, I've been very lucky and have dated some really generous men, and I feel like for that reason I just would never be able to not date one. Like, we will not fucking last at all if he's not generous. I don't know.
I hope you guys won't fall for this. Don't spend money or buy things just to keep a woman around. That's not how it works. You should only pay or do things because you genuinely want to, not as a way to hold on to someone or convince them to stay. If you feel like you need to spend money just to keep her attention, then that relationship isn't worth it. You don't want to be with someone whose interest depends on what you're providing financially. And let's be real, the so-called Chads aren't doing anything special. In fact, some of them are getting their gas tanks filled and rent paid for without lifting a finger. It happens because when a woman genuinely likes a guy, she doesn't require much from him at all. That's the truth. All those expectations and demands only apply to the guy she's not really into. That's the guy who ends up doing the most, and still, it often doesn't make sense or lead anywhere. So remember this, you don't have to pay or go out of your way to earn love or attention. When the feelings are real, the effort to buy someone's affection is not necessary. She will stick around because she wants to, not because of what you're offering. Keep that in mind, and don't let her message confuse you.